Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, and we are again in the final hour of the trading day. The final hour of the trading day is my favorite time to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions for my swing trades. During the day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders. They are in control of the price. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in. They're dealing with the most money. They move stocks around and they take the price control away from the day traders and the algorithms. So that is why I prefer to make my buying and selling decisions based upon what the large financial institutions are doing at the end of the day. I consider them smart money. I consider it an edge to wait till the end of the day to make my buying and selling decisions. So thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it. Always look forward to seeing everyone, and I appreciate you carving out some time here and coming in the group, because I really think we have a great group. All right, well, no biggie. Dow's up 671 points, up 2.44%. The NASDAQ is up 335 points, up 3.09%, and the S&P is up 87.5 points, up 2.6%. So, you know, we've had quite a sell-off in the last few days. So we are having a bounce here. Whether or not it's sustainable or if it's just a bounce and possibly a new downtrend, we'll have to wait to see. But either case could be possible. So let's take a look here. Hey, Kamal is here. Hey, Kamal, good to see you. Kamal and I chat during the day on Skype, and always appreciate that and his friendship. Thank you, Kamal. Dan says 4 out of 5 of us waiting have smashed the thumbs up button. Oh, thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you don't mind, if you like the podcast, I would appreciate if you could hit the thumbs up button. Miko25 is here. Hello, Greg and all. Hello, sir. Nice to see you, my friend. I hope you and the family are doing well. Evan is here. Hey, Evan, good afternoon to you. Thanks for saying hi. Johan is here. Hey, Johan, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a good day. Looking forward to our lesson this evening. Bob is here. Hey, Bob, good to see you. And Gary M is here. Hi, Greg and group. Hi, Gary. Good to see you. Okay, so we've got a lot to get through today. So first of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. After that, I've had a couple day trades today that I'm going to share with you. After that, we're going to take a look at everybody else's trades that I have up on the board. We'll go through those one by one. I see a few of those are doing really well today, so I'm glad to see that. After that, I'm going to talk a little bit about trader psychology. Always, in my opinion, the most important part of the day, talking about what's going on between our ears and get away from what's happening on the charts, because at the end of the day, making a plan, following your plan, having the discipline to follow your plan is the most important component if you want to be a successful trader. It is true, the longer you trade, the more you will realize this. So anyway, we'll spend a few minutes there. After that, I have gone down through my watch list, and I've gone down through the results of Kamal's scanner. I have 3 requirements whenever I look to enter a trade. First requirement, I need to look for a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up. Indicators like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels. I look at each indicator as a potential group of buyers, and you'll put yourself in the best position. You'll improve your odds dramatically to have a profitable trade if you're within the company of as many other buyers as possible. And if you flip that around to the other extreme, if you're the only buyer and everyone else is selling, it's going to be very difficult to make money on a long position. So you want to be in the company with as many other buyers as possible. The way I try to achieve that is look for a combination or confluence of indicators, or in other words, combination or confluence of buyers, ideally on multiple time frames. After that, after you've identified a confluence or combination of signals, you also have to take a look at it and see if it's a good risk to reward ratio. There's oftentimes you have many combinations of indicators lining up, but the trade may not be an advisable one to take because the risk to reward ratio doesn't look good. I need to have at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, meaning that if I'm going to risk $100, I want to be able to make at least 200 or more to the upside based upon where my support is for the stop below me and realistic, likely valid resistance above me. And then number 3, always important to make sure that you take a look at how many positions you have, how correlated they are. You don't want to be overweight in any one industry with your trades. Best to have diversified holdings in different industries and even outside of stocks of equities like gold, silver, bonds, oil, things like that, just to have extra diversification. So anyway, we're going to go down through. I'm going to narrow them down. I'm going to try to pick the very, very best one based upon the 3 requirements that I have. If I find something at the end of the day, I will go ahead, place the trade right before the close. After the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. If you have any stock symbols that you'd like me to look at and to get my opinion on, put them in the chat. Put an asterisk or an emoji by it so I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my very best to get to it before the close of the day. And then also, if you have any new entries or exits today that you would like me to update on the board, if you could please wait just till the end of the day after the market closes so that I'm done teaching, I'm done trading, pressure's off, and then I'll get them all updated. All right, so that's the plan. So hang tight. I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks a lot. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Frank is here. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Frank says, hello, Greg and friends. Hello, Frank. Tracy Peterson is here. Hey, Tracy. Good to see you and good chatting with you the other day. Appreciate you being here. And if Paxton's there, please give him a hello from me, would you? All right, here we go. So I didn't have a lot of positions today. I had the SPY, which real quick, I do buy the SPY every day. Oops. I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk and I sell it first thing the next morning. This is based upon a long-term, I can't. There we go. This is based upon a long-term back-tested study testing 2 different approaches from Liz Ann Saunders. She's at Bespoke Invest since 1993. Option number 1 they tested was buy the SPY at the open in the morning, hold it through the day, sell at the close. Using this approach every day since 1993, you'd have actually returned a negative 13.9% return for all your problems and all your work for doing that. The opposite, this is what I do. The second one is buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take the overnight risk. That's where the edge is in my opinion, and sell it first thing the next morning. That approach produced a gain of 634.2%. So big difference between when you buy and when you sell the SPY. If you buy it at the open, sell it at the close, the return so far has been a negative 13.9%. Buy at the close, sell the next morning, plus 634.2%. So this is the one I opt for. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. It may never work again, but so far it has worked nicely since 1993. And if I'm going to allocate money towards a trade, it's going to be something that has good back-tested results. So this time it worked out. It doesn't always work out. I did buy yesterday at the close at 333.21, and I sold it at the open at 337.52. So not too bad. Over 4 points on the gap, but yesterday, let's see, 42 to 36. Yeah, so, you know, that was a 6-pointer. So lost 6 points, made 4 points. That's how it goes, but I'm happy nonetheless, and I will be buying this again today at the close. All right. Secondly, my only other swing, or well, not swing position, but position, is I sold puts on Apple yesterday down to 77.50. The idea with selling puts is you don't want the price to go down to that level. Otherwise, you're going to be required to buy the stock. I did pick 77.50 on the daily because it's right at the 250-day moving average. If we look over on the weekly, I like to look at this in multiple time frames. If we look over on the weekly, we have the 50-week moving average holding above. And on the monthly, it's right back down here at the top of the ATR channel, the first ATR channel, and the 20-month moving average. And we also have support from this previous high. Whenever you have a previous high and you go down, that's going to be resistance. But if you can bust through it and go up above it, so that's going to act support. So when I sell puts, I haven't done it for a while because the volatility hasn't been high enough. The higher the volatility, the more money you'll get for the premium. And that's where I feel the edge is waiting for that volatility to get higher, so you do get paid extra on the premium. And then I dovetail that with technicals. Like I said, on the monthly, 1 ATR channel and the 20-month moving average, that makes sense from a level standpoint. On the weekly, I have that 50-week moving average protecting above, and on the daily, I have the 250-day moving average all the way down there. So, you know, when you sell puts, you have protection. I have protection of about 34% to the downside, which is pretty good. These expire November 20th. The market is, Apple is up today, 4.92 points. So that's good for me, right? So I've made money on that. As a matter of fact, if I look here, so I did that yesterday. I have made about 25% of the premium that I'm going to get in one day. So that's pretty good. Okay, so those are my only two positions. Let's take a look at some intraday trades. Had a nice little trade here on Disney. Okay, let's see if I can stretch this out a little bit. I did buy here on Disney when we had the close above the 200. Notice it's a higher low close above the 200. I like higher low closes much better because if you come from a lower low and then go up, the people that bought here very likely, if it gets a little weak, will sell, and very likely that first lower low will come up and then come back down. But if you can get a higher low close, that means the people that bought here sold through here. If it goes up and closes above the 200-day moving average, I don't have to worry about these people selling into me because they already did it here. So let's see, I bought it at 133.38. Moved up nicely, moved up nicely. I sold a half of the position at 133.77 when we lost the 50 RSI. Kept going. Here, it rejected the 50 moving average. I sold another half of a half at 133.23, and then I sold another half of a half at 133.94. So pretty good trade all the way around. And then if it had come back to my break-even point, I would have just got out of that last quarter. The last eighth, but it didn't. It kept going up. Then it rejected the 100 here, so I got out of the last portion at 133.37. So got in at 133.38, out of some at 133.77, out of some at 133.84, some at 134.30, and some at 134.71. So all in all, pretty good trade there. Then I had two trades on VIX today, one winner, one loser. All right, I took the trade here on VIX. We were below the -1 ATR channel. We came in, we came back down, entered here with the higher low V at higher low V2 at 27.20. Moved up. Here it lost the 50 RSI at 27.45. And then here it closed below the previous low at 27.68. So I got out half here, out of another half of the half there, and then it came all the way back to my break-even point. So if I move more than 1.5 ATRs from my entry, if it goes back to my break-even point, I'll get out of whatever I have left. So got out, okay, got in at 22.20, got out a half at 27.45, got out of another half of a half at 27.68, and then back to break even on this one. But all in all profitable, which was good. And then this was the losing trade here. It bounced off the 30, had a V2, rejected the negative third ATR channel, got in at 27.10, started up my way nicely for the next 10 minutes, came back down, and then I had to get out for a loss here. So I got in at 27.10, got out at 26.98, so I lost 12 cents on that. So, but anyway, all in all, pretty good day trades, and definitely happy for that. Okay. Glenn, hey Glenn, good to see you. Hi Greg, bulls looking to close above 33.91. Let's take a look. $33.93. Yeah, we're at 34.19 if we're looking at the same, right? At the index here, S&P index. Steve says, hey Steve, good to see you, bud. Appreciate you being here, my friend. As always an honor and a privilege to have Steve. You know, he has a great website, newtraderu.com. He has great books. He's authored many books. I've read them all. He has great online e-courses. So, you know, if you're considering learning a little bit more about trading, looking for some good books, I would recommend any book by Stephen Burns. And again, he has a nice online course over at New Trader U. But thank you for coming, Steve. Appreciate it. Steve says, well, that was a short seller killing rally. Yes, it was. Frank has a poem for us. Buy low, sell high is still a rule that does apply. But the lure of blue sky when stocks are trading oh so high. So keep looking up, but don't get cute, and make sure you trade with a parachute. Oh, that's great. Make sure you trade with a parachute. Buy low, sell high is a rule that does apply. But the lure of blue sky when stocks are trading oh so high. So keep looking up, but don't get cute, and make sure you trade with a parachute. So good. Man, I don't know how Frank comes up with these every day. I'm just always so impressed. I never get unimpressed because I get used to them. I'm always super impressed. Thank you, Frank. That's fantastic. Glenn says, Microsoft and NVIDIA looking good, up over 6% today. Swing trader's dream. Yes, for sure. Brandon Smith. Hey, Brandon. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming, sir. Glenn says, pivot levels Microsoft 220 and NVIDIA 502. Can see the market rise into beginning of next week before the next leg down. Second half of September is a weak period. Yeah, you know, historically, September is the weakest month of the year on a historic basis. It's not October. It's actually September. But with the election and everything coming up, who knows? Who knows what it's going to be? Seems like this year all the rules are off the table. Okay, let's take a look at everybody's trades here. Johan, nice trade. Johan bought yesterday DBX at 1987, double bottom with a bullish divergence and a close back above the 200-day moving average. Up 49 cents today, up 2.46%. Let's see how high it got, Johan. Let's see if it got to a 50 RSI today. It did not. Got to 48.01. It's off a little bit from its high, but 2.5%. It's pretty dang sweet. So very nice trade, Johan. And we'll talk about that one tonight. DGX, Yas bought DGX back at 109.04. It is currently 107.94, so a little underneath the water on the trade. Today it is holding the 200-day moving average. I know Kamal got out of it. He missed getting out of it yesterday, and so he got out of it this morning. So it looks like Yas is the only one, so slightly underwater. Alibaba, Gary sold puts on Alibaba. He sold the September 18th puts 240, 235 spreads, meaning that he sold puts at 240, he bought puts at 235. As long as it does not close below 240, Gary will make all the premium on that bullish credit spread that he sold. Right now it's 237, so he has 33 points of protection, so that's looking pretty good. Walmart. Carol bought Walmart back here on at 144.32. Got really hammered the last couple days, but it is up 2.84% today. So if Carol still has it, I'm glad that's up for her. AGG. Carol bought AGG at 118.68. This one has not cooperated. This one's actually down 10 cents today. So that's kind of a bummer there, but I'm not sure Carol still has that. Eli Lilly. Gary bought Eli Lilly at 149.63. False breakout to the downside. V1. Nice trade. Went skyrocketing up that first day, then came back down, and then up, and then down, and up nicely today. It's over the 50 RSI, so that's always a good sign. Up 2.69% today, just today, but so far on the trade, up 2.39%. So very nice trade there. Gold. Well, gold is rallying today. Gary and Dan have gold, bought it back here at 184.40. Initially moved up nicely on that crossover, then we crossed under. V2 today, day 1, 2, 3. Day 2 washes out day 1, day 3, closing above day 1's close. However, there is a big gap here. If I'm going to buy gold, I'm going to wait for that 520 crossover, and that could happen tomorrow if we continue up. VIPS, Carol and Yas bought VIPS at 17.51, under 30, over 30, bullish engulfing, close over the 200-day, lots of good signals, close over the negative third ATR channel, held up pretty well based upon how big the market was down the last couple days, but unfortunately this one's down a little bit today, so they're both down a little on this trade, but it is holding the 200-day moving average, so that's a positive. Bob bought Johnson & Johnson. Boy, Johnson & Johnson has just been I mean, look at this stock go up. You would think that was Apple or Tesla. Nice return to value. V2 bought it at 147.39. Got a dividend along the way. That's why the disparity here. Moved up great, strong. There was a lot of selling the last 3 days, obviously, but up 2.52% today. So very nice, Bob. Snap, Karen bought Snap at 22.90. Kind of moved all over the place, but up 5.16% today. So if Karen still has that, she is nicely in the money. BAC, Gary M bought BAC at 26.05. Currently it is 25.66, up a little today, but slightly down on the trade. WDC, Quad Racer. Haven't seen Quad for a while, so I don't know if he still has this. Bought it at 35.22. It's currently 36.78, up 0.91. GDXJ. Oh, nice trade. Yas bought GDXJ, which is the junior gold miners, at 58.35. It is up 4.87% today at 60.05. So very, very nice. Goldman Sachs, Kamal bought Goldman Sachs back here at 203.79. This has been all over the place, up and down and up and down. It did hold the 200-day moving average. I know that's Kamal's end-of-day stop, but it did test the 200 yesterday, tested it today, so that is a good sign. Did reject the 50-day moving average, which is not a great sign, but I know Kamal's end-of-day stop is a close below the 200-day, so it is up today. Glad to see that. Boy, what a day. Look at Gary. Gary bought, I remember this trade, under 30, over 30, under the negative third ATR channel, over the negative third ATR channel, under the 200, over the 200, plus a V1. When I talk about confluences of signals, that's what I'm talking about. Bought it at 22.56. It's at 28.96, everybody. Wow. This is up a mere 22.15%. Congratulations, Gary M. EVRG Quad bought at 52.90. It's at 53.28, so up on the trade. Very nice. FCFS. Bob bought FCFS at 58.90. 58.10, I mean. Up nicely today. So very nice there. Intel, Quad, and Bob bought Intel at 49.22. It's at 49.86. This one just moved sideways, and we had a big spurt to the upside. Then it came back, is in the value zone. I'm looking to re-enter Intel if it can just move sideways here in the value zone. Then I'll look for a V1 or a V2. STZ for Evan. This stock always goes up, it seems like. This is a great trade. Bought at 178.12. This thing just moved up like a rocket ship. Held pretty dang strong with the sell-offs in the last few days. Was down a little bit today, but right back up again today. Very, very nice, Evan. And lastly, IAU. Frank bought IAU at 18.65. It is up over 1% today, just slightly down on the trade, looking to get pretty close to break even. All right. Gary says, hey Greg, I have phased out of Stitch Fix. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll take that one off the board, but that was a good trade, Gary. We'll take that one off the board. All right. Did all the other trades sound about right to everyone? Let me check on a little something over here. All right. Oh boy. So listen, before we start to go down through the list, before I start looking at possible end of day candidates, I just want to switch gears real quick, talk a little bit about trader psychology. I do this every day, and you know that I always share a saying that I see up on Facebook or Twitter. There's some really good channels out there that share great information with us, and it's free. Subscribe to these people and read their sayings, and just don't read it, but read it and internalize it, because these are always just pure trading words of wisdom. This one is from our good friend Stephen Burns. Here we go. Stephen Burns over on the New Traders, Rich Traders channel over on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed to that, subscribe to that, apply to that. Really serious traders in there. Steve's in there, Tom Basso's in there, Kamal's in there. I'm in there. A lot of people over there. It's a good group. But let's see what Steve has to say. There are two ways to trade. One is to try to predict what will happen, and the other is to react to what is happening. You know, this sounds pretty basic, right? You've heard this a million times. There are two ways to trade. One is to try to predict what will happen, and the other is to react to what is happening. It's a simple saying, but there's so much truth, so much wisdom in this saying. You know, I've been trading for so long, and I can tell you without a doubt, whenever I try to predict what will happen, the majority of times I'm wrong. I swear. And, you know, I follow the economy. I like economics. I think I'm pretty good at it, but I'm still wrong at it, right? And I have some background in it. And that is why I trade price action. People say, what's trading price action? Trading price action is trading what is going on based upon the indicators that you are using. Even if your mind is saying this shouldn't be happening, like the rally we've had over the last 4 or 5 months, in my mind shouldn't be happening, but it is. So, you know, if you want to short the market because you don't think it should be happening, but it is happening, you're gonna lose a lot of money. But if you just go, well, doesn't seem right, but I'm going to trade what's happening in front of me, like Steve says here. The other is to react to what is happening. Trade what's happening. Trade the price. Don't trade your feelings and opinions. The more you trade, the more you will understand. And there's never been a year where this is more true than this year. So that's why yesterday I was talking about very, very smart, high IQ individuals generally have a hard time trading the market. They're not as successful as just kind of your average person who just trades price action, right? And I'm going to read it one more time, but please listen and just please understand that there is a lot of wisdom in this based upon my experience, based upon Steve's experience. There are two ways to trade. One is to try to predict what will happen, and the other is to react to what is happening. So in my opinion, if you want to make money, if you want to be a consistently profitable trader over the years, you better react and trade what is happening instead of what you think should be happening. So thank you so much, Steve. I mean, this is just a 5-star saying. It's simple, but it's everything. Gary said, I sold my last shares today at 29.02. Oh, very nice, Gary. Kamal says, nice trade, Gary M. Oh, USO. Okay. Haven't looked at USO for a while. Oh, my. Ugh. Well, this is a rare setup, everybody. And if Steve's listening, Steve Burns is listening, he'll understand. What we have here is a confluence of an under 30, over 30 RSI. At the same time, we're at a 100-day moving average. This is a rare occurrence. A lot of times you'll get the confluence of the 30 RSI and the 200-day moving average. But the actual 30 RSI confluence with the 100-day moving average is pretty rare. So today we went under 30, over 30, under the 100, over the 100. Boy. Let's look at the weekly here. Weekly was moving sideways, 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 and finally broke down. We're back in the value zone. Tell you what, it's a little scary, man. I mean, it went under the -6 ATR channel and over. This definitely would be a decent risk to reward ratio. This huge gap just concerns me. I don't know. But from a strictly procedural approach, yeah, Steve says very nice confluence on USO. I have not seen that in a long time. That's exactly what I was talking about. But I mean, it is a valid setup from a risk to reward standpoint. Under 30, over 30, under the 100, over the 100, and rejection of the 6th ATR channel. I think I'm going to pass on this one because yesterday we had the big bar down. We're right at about halfway. I think what I'm going to, this is interesting for sure. I just feel like the people that bought down here at any weakness at all, I'm going to look for a higher low V1. I like this long term. I like this, but I just think for me personally, it'd be a better setup if I could get a higher low. Higher lows are, in my opinion, always better than lower low trades. Always, always, always. Because again, people that bought here, if it gets weak, they'll sell. That will cause it to come back down. And then if I could get a higher low V1 or V2, I don't have to worry about this person selling into me because they sold into it on the downside. That's if it does that. It might just go roaring back up and I'll just miss it. But that's interesting, Kamal. Very, very interesting. I didn't look at gold today. Boy, that's unbelievable. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Steve says, I never liked the contango in the USO ETF. It costs too much in expenses to manage and does not backtest well. Yeah, he's talking about the contango with the different prices and the different front months going forward, and it decays and the whole thing. I would imagine Steve, if he was trading oil, would probably just trade futures where you don't have that. Frank says oil is like climbing out of a well. Kamal says UNG. Kamal is all about the energies today. It's a V1, but you know, it's under the 200-day moving average. Yesterday's bar was larger than 1 ATR. It's rejected the negative one ATR channel. So I don't really see anything on the daily. On the weekly, look, we had the nice move over the value zone. If we could come back into the value zone, get some sideways motion in a V1, V2, it might be an interesting trade on the weekly, but on the daily, I don't see much right now. All right. Listen, I wanted to show you this. I don't talk about trend lines very often, but I did notice this yesterday, and this is on the Qs. Okay, so here's one point, here's another point, here's a third point, so it's a 3-point trend line. You can see the trend line is here, this line up here. Well, a couple days ago, we broke that trend line, closed below it, right? We were above it, now we're below it. Anytime you break a trend line below you, now it's going to act as resistance above you. So you can see this blue square here. If the price gets back up and rejects that trend line to the upside, I would be looking to go short. In addition to that, we've had a move from here down to here. A 50% retracement is right here. So you have this confluence of signals with a trend line above you as resistance right in this kind of same vector. I'm not giving you the exact price, right? But just in this area. So if we go from here to here, not surprising to rally back to here before we possibly go down. But in addition to that, it also has a confluence. That 50% fib retracement has a confluence with that overhead trend line above. Just because it gets here doesn't mean you automatically short. You still need some kind of trigger, whether it's a V1 or a V2 or a close over, close under, that kind of situation. But I was showing this to Kamal earlier, but I'm going to be patient here. I think it's going to be very difficult to go back up and make new highs after what we've gone through. I could totally be wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. Coming in the next few days, I will be looking for some kind of short here based upon what I just mentioned. All right, well, here's Monster Energy. We have a 520 cross under, cross over. This does backtest well. Quad Racer, buddy, what's going on? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a few days. I almost took down your trades because I didn't know if you were still in them. But after the podcast today, maybe you can update me and let me know what you're in, and I'll get them all updated. But good seeing you, bud. Anyway, Monster Energy has a 520 cross under, cross over. It does backtest well. This is a possibility. I'll tell you one thing though. On this sell-off, look at the volume. Big volume. Now we've had this rally. Not a lot of volume on this rally. Even if we look over at the Qs, look at the volume on the downside. Huge volume. Yes, we've had a rally today, but look at this volume. You know, you can look at volume as votes, people voting for things. Not a lot of voting going on here. That is one thing that concerns me on this rally. Another reason why I would look for some kind of possible short position or buy puts or something on the Qs up in this area. But Monster Energy is definitely a potential here with 520 cross under, cross over. That does backtest well. FNV, Franco Nevada Corp. It's a V2. Here's day 1, 2, 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Day 3 closes above day 1's close, but we have this big old gap here. And I don't like to buy V2s if I have a big gap larger than 1/4 ATR. So this one, it's over the 50-day moving average. It's over the 50 RSI. It's both good, but it just seems range bound. It's a red-green, which is good, but only 390,000 shares. I mean, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it so far. CRI. Well, it's a false breakout to the downside with a V1 and a bullish engulfing bar. Is over the 50 RSI. That one is a potential, but oh, okay. I thought this said 53,000 shares, 534,000. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly's in the value zone, holding this range. MACD is positive, so that one looks pretty good as well. We have that 100 and that 50-day moving average above us, but false breakouts to the downside, V1, bullish engulfing bar, rejection of the -1 ATR channel, and MACD crossover. So that definitely goes in the potential category. Gold up nicely today. Is it V2? Bar 1, 2, 3. Bar 1 washes out bar 2, washes out bar 1. We do have a V2, but there's a gap. Me personally, I'm going to wait for a 520 crossover so I don't get chopped up in this. In my opinion, better to wait for the crossover than this V2 because this V2 has a gap. So I'm going to let that one go, but if it does in the future, I will buy it then. Quad says, will do. I was out of town and had afternoon meetings for work, so I missed quite a few days of your podcast. Happy to be back. Glad to have you back, Quad. Steve says, I am buying Monster today on the 520 crossover. Aha. That's the one we just talked about. Let's look at NKLA. Got smoked today, so imagine it's down. Oh my. Yeah, this was the one where Steve almost got the crossover, but he didn't take it because he's a disciplined trader, and he didn't take the crossover, just like Steve's not going to take gold today because the 5 has not crossed over the 20. And it was the same thing with this Nikola Corporation. And of course, it's how it works sometimes. You know, had he front-runned it a little bit, yes, it was up like 40% yesterday or something like that. But it's going to happen. Stick to your rules. Sometimes it's going to work for you. Sometimes it's not. But boy, it sure did get smoked today for sure, didn't it, Steve? XPO. Okay. Well, we were above the value zone. We come into the value zone. Yes, we have a V2 in the value zone. Bar 1, 2, and 3. Bar 2 goes below bar 1. Bar 3 close above bar 1's close. But it's missing one component here, everybody. It's missing the sideways motion. You know, a lot of times when I have students, I teach them V1s, V2s. And you can see V1s, V2s all the time. But V1s, V2s happen all the time. But valid V1s, V2s, you have to be patient for. And there's no sideways motion. It just came down and bounced. And in my experience, if it just comes down and bounces, it will make a lower high and then continue back down. Not always, but the best sustained uptrends are when you come into the value zone, you move sideways, then you have a foundation. You have a foundation, just like a skyscraper. In order to build a high skyscraper, you need to build a good foundation. In order to get a nice big run on a stock, generally, not all the time, you need some consolidation and some sidewards motion. This is just a down and bounce up. In my opinion, these don't work out as well as sideways motion. So nothing on XPO for me. Philip Morris is a champion of all champions. And again, here's a V2, bar 1, 2, and 3. 2 washes out bar 1. Bar 3 is certainly above bar 1's close, but two things wrong here. It's above the -1 ATR channel, too high for me to take it, and it has this gap. But I'm glad this is up today because account I manage has a big position in Philip Morris. So I'm very, very glad to see that. AAXN. Okay, here we go. We have a higher low V2. We're below the 1 ATR channel. We rally into the value zone. Oh, check that. We closed above the 1 ATR. We've come down. Again, it's a V2, but it has a gap and there's no sideways motion. So again, go the extra mile looking for that sideways motion. Just because you see a V1 or V2, in my opinion, this is the kind of thing that might go another day and then come back down. But I could be wrong. But, you know, if I'm going to take a trade, it's going to be something that, in my experience, the best setup. Universal Display, OLED. We have an under 200, over 200. I think Kamal back tested this earlier for me, and this does not back test well. The under 200, over 200 does not back test well. So looks like it may, it's over the 50, but no, I'm going to let that one go. Also, CVS. Did we have an under 30, over 30 yesterday? 30.83, pretty close. little bit of a V1, not a great one. No, I'm just going to let that one go. When? Well, we're above the 1 ATR channel. We've come back into the value zone. And again, a lot of setups like this today. Yes, we're above the 1 ATR channel. Yes, we're back in the value zone. Yes, we had a V1, but there's no sideways motion. Now this one, you know, this one rejected the 100-day moving average. This one rejected the -1 ATR channel, which gives it a few more brownie points, but still, no, I'm going to wait. Home Depot, again, you know, V2, back in the value zone. On a lot of these stocks that have gone below the value zone and into the value zone, I would much rather wait for a higher low V1, V2. In the volatility that we've had, I would not be surprised at all if this rally gets sold. I'm not saying it will. I could be totally wrong, but that's kind of my feeling. And even outside of my feeling, this just does not qualify as a trade for me. CTRE, above the value zone, into the value zone, V1. This doesn't have sideways motion. It's a little better though because it did wash out this low over here. So it's a false breakout to the downside and a V1. A lot of volume, over under the 50, over the 50. Okay, that one's a potential because of the false breakout to the downside and the rejection of the 50. BTX, no, I don't see anything. How are we doing on time? All right, 13 minutes. Gartner, false breakout to the downside. V2, close back over the 200-day moving average. Bar 1 was quite a bit larger than 1 ATR, only 118,000 shares traded, so that decides it for me right there. CBOE, this would have been a nice trade if we could have had a V2. If, you know, here I can move this bar. I wish I could do this in real life. If this would have happened, yes, because we're into the value zone, sideways motion, made a lower high, but then washed out the low and then triggered a V2 with positive MACD. That would have been a good trade, but you can see it's untriggered, so that one's off the table as well. BTI, boy, tobacco's strong today, huh? No, I can't buy that. It's a V2, but there's a little bit of a gap there, and the rejection of the 50. And then SLV. I like SLV. We were above the value zone. We came down. We held steady for one day from this low. Yesterday went down below that low but closed above it. So here we have a return to value, 2 days of sideways motion, and a V2. Day one's close was 25.06. It is now 25.16. I like this trade. It's under the 520 crossover as well. Metals were strong today. Let's look over on the weekly. Weekly's a touch high, but it did. You see how the week has formed a V1 on the weekly as well. I like SLV here. So let's see. Monster. I'm concerned about this big old down move. I mean, it is a 520 crossover with a V2, which is positive, and the 520 crossover does backtest well. But I think I'm just going to let this one go. I think I like silver better. CRI. Let's take a look at CRI intraday and see what kind of volume this thing has. It's okay. There's no bars without any. I still think I like silver better. We have the 100-day above. We have the 50 above. My stop is going to be about here. It may lose the 50 RSI here. Yeah, I like silver better. CTRE. On the weekly, we had a V1 last week to the downside, or no, V2. So it's under a V2 on the weekly. A lot of volume. Kamal, I like the red green. Also, we've talked about that. You know, I'm going to buy the SPY, obviously. So that's going to be equities. I do have a position in Apple also. So, you know, that's exposure I have. So, you know, I'm going to try to practice what I preach, and my practicing what I preach is always looking at diversification and correlation. So I like, me personally, silver. That 520 cross on Monster does backtest well, but just me personally, I don't like the huge move down, the big move it's made back up, and the lower volume. I could be totally wrong. Steve's taking it. I hope I'm totally wrong on this, but so I am just going to go with silver today. And that's going to be it. Quad says, I'm not feeling Monster today. Not enough sideways motion for me. I could be wrong, though. Yeah, well, you know, technically you don't need sideways motion as a filter with the V1 or, with the crossover, right? And it does backtest well. You know, the real signal there is the crossover. Let's see, what are we doing as far as, so we're up 549 points now, so we are off a little bit. Zach says, hello, Greg and friends. Hello, Zach, good to see you. William says, check Agile Therapeutics. Could somebody give me the, could you give me the ticker symbol on that, William? And good to see you, by the way. I don't know what the symbol is on that off the top of my head. Oh, I guess I could do it this way. A-G-I-L-E. A-G-R-X. Thanks, Kamal. Yesterday would have been the day. I think that's a V1, right? This would have been today above the value zone, 2 days sideways motion, and the V1. Let's see, the close was 293, and it closed at. Let's see, the close was 293 and it closed at 293. So no, yesterday would have been the appropriate and legitimate place to buy this. I wouldn't buy it now. Personally, it's above the 1 ATR channel. So if it's above the 1 ATR channel, it's kind of outside of the parameters of where I can buy. But dang, this did look pretty good yesterday. In the value zone, sideways motion, washout bar, trigger bar, up 5.32%. So yeah, that was, I mean, if I would have seen that yesterday, its potential, I would have bought it. I don't like that it rejected the 1 ATR channel though, but who knows, you know, looking back in time, it's always easy. But it was a nice in the value zone, sideways, spike down, reverse. And this thing must have been up. %8 at one point today. Hey, John, good to see you, buddy. All right, let's hurry and look at this. EHTH, eHealth. Looks like it was a V2 yesterday. MACD is positive. Kamal and I were just talking about that. I have found that the best higher lows come when MACD is positive. Has not rejected the 50 RSI. Yesterday triggered a fractal, which is good. It's okay. You just have to define where your stop's going to be. If this were me, my stop would be about right here, halfway of that washout bar. But that looks pretty good on the. It looks pretty good on the weekly. Yeah, it's okay. Dang, I wish you would have asked me about this yesterday, because yesterday, if that would have triggered. It was better yesterday. It was better by 2.44%. But it's decent. Not a lot of volume today, though. Yeah, said, could you look at USAU? Again, this is a perfect example, everybody, of being above the 1 ATR channel, coming into the value zone, making a lower high, washing out that low, sideways, 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 sideways. 2 days ago was the trigger. 100%, million% legitimate. If somebody would have showed me this 2 days ago, I would have bought this 100%. Right, Kamal? In the value zone, lower high, washes out the low, sideways, 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 V2, bam. Dang it. Okay, Steve's long monster at 82.93. Okay, I'll get that on the board. Okay, thanks. I bought 1 year ago, sold today. Oh, okay. I like to hear that. Okay, so I am going to buy silver. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that purchase right now. Okay, so I'm going to put, let's see, I'll just wait till everybody, in case we have some more questions. Yes, says, I was licking wounds 2 days ago, thanks. Dang, yes, that's a sexy looking chart. That's the kind of chart that I might cut out and paste and show in my lessons, because this is such a perfect example. Come into the value zone and bounce. Without any sideways motions, that bounce usually fails. But then we washed out the previous low, making this a false breakout to the downside and a V2. Perfect. I guarantee you, I think anybody that knows me well enough would know I would buy that 100% back there on the 4th. Dang, I would have bought that thing in a second. Whoa. Kamal says, I'm going to buy SLV and USO. Okay, we have 1 minute. Steve says, I was very close to an AGQ 520 cross, but no go. Yeah. This is one of those things where it might cross under and cross over, or it might just kiss and then go back up. But nonetheless, that's AGQ. But I did buy silver, which is just regular silver. AGQ is double leverage, but I do like silver here, and I did buy it. All right, let me make sure I have everything here. Okay, so it looks like the market's has sold off a little. You know, when I chat here at the end of the day, I don't really notice what's going on, and oh, market's closed. Okay. So listen, if you have any new entries, exits for me today, this is the time. Just put them in the chat. Let me know the prices, and I'll put in your new entries or get rid of your old entries. Oh, I guess just real quick, where did I buy my stuff? All right, so SPY I bought at 339.79, and silver $25.19. Okay, and before I update stuff, just real quick, Hope it's okay, but I just need to do my end of day plug, my everyday end of day plug. Just to remind everybody out there that I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I have a course that's 15 hours. There's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so a total of 15 hours. I have studied with some great traders and authors over the last 24 years. I studied with them one-on-one. I think it's the best way to learn. And those are Stephen Burns, who's right here with us right now, Carrie Lavorne, Dr. Alexander Elder, Larry Williams. I've studied with each one of them one-on-one, and the course that I teach is a combination, an aggregate of everything I've learned from these 4 different teachers. I put together, combined together, and that's what I teach in my course. And it's a great course. I really think it's worth a lot more than I charge. I do charge $1,000, but I think it's worth every penny. And I think when you're done, you're going to be a much better trader, you know, if you put into use what I've taught you. So, you know, if you're interested, please reach out to me. You can send me an email. Email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter at Gossett Trading. If you do reach out, I'll reply, say, hey, how's it going? Let's set up a Skype call. Skype call's free. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I promise. I just want to get to know you a little bit better, learn about your trading, your challenges and your goals, and what you'd like to achieve. And then it's a great time for you to ask me questions about the course, because everybody has questions, and then people write to me and say, hey, can you explain your course? I'm like, can we just talk so I don't have to type all this out? Right? But I think you're going to get a better answer that way. But again, it's free and there's no obligation. I'm not going to ask you if you want to take the course. When we're done, I'm just going to say, nice talking to you. Think it over. If you're interested, get back to me and we'll set it up. And then if you could hit the thumbs up button today, that would be fantastic. I would appreciate that. If you like today's podcast and if you find it helpful. Okay, so first on deck, silver. I bought silver at, what did I say? 25.19. 25.19. $25.19. This is a V2. My stop is going to be here. This is the washout bar. This is day 1. This is day 2, day 3. Day 2 is the washout bar. Halfway of that washout bar is right about there, I guess. Maybe a touch higher. All right, don't get obsessive, Greg. Just put it about halfway of the bar. All right, we'll call that good. Okay, so if I get a close below there, I am sayonara, right? Key with trading, set yourself up good risk to reward ratios. I have, 2 times to the upside potential move here compared to what I'm losing to the downside, what I've kind of factored in losing to the downside. We're above the 50 RSI, V2, so who knows? Who knows if it's going to work or not, but it makes sense to me, and I could be wrong, but hopefully I'll be wrong small. And then SPY, overnight SPY trade. Oh yeah, that did sell off quite a bit from the high, didn't it? All right, overnight SPY trade. What did I write down? 339.79. 339.79. Okay. So I've got silver, I've got the overnight SPY trade, and I have the puts I sold on Apple at 77.50. All right. Now, let's get to everybody else's trade here. Let's see. Let me go back up to where Steve bought Monster Energy, MNST, with the 520 crossover. $82.93. All right, nice, Steve, and good luck with that, bud. Okay, I got Steve Burns there. Okay, Kamal is out of DGX. Oh yeah, I took him out earlier. He's in USO. Shoot. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's an interesting confluence of indicators. Under 30, over 30, and rejection of the 100. I hope that one goes up for you, bud. All right, so I've got Kamal there. And silver. Okay. So Brian has Microsoft. Hey Brian, good to see you, buddy. 209.17. Brian M. Facebook. Come on now. Okay, here we go. $273.40. Okay. AMD. $80.68. Okay. Teladoc. $2.22. Alrighty. And TWLO. What is that? Twillo? Yeah. $229.88. Okay, you're taken care of, Bri. Good luck with all those. Hey, how you doing? Big drop here last half hour. Yeah, I noticed that, kind of. Just by kind of getting a general feel for it, but while I was speaking. But yes, there was a big drop there. But good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Plastovsky. That's a good name. Johan is in silver. All right, we'll talk about your other trade, and we'll talk about that trade tonight, and also in Monster. Okay, very good. Dan is in silver. All right, Dan, gotcha. Oh, Yas is in silver. Kamal says Goldman Sachs holding 200 by a thread, 520 cross under today. Oh, did Goldman Sachs go red? Dang, it did. Okay, quad is out of Intel. And space. I don't think I had space up here. Oh, I was almost going to buy space yesterday. What did that do? Oh, it was up 30 cents. Okay. And quad bought silver today. Okay. Gary, thank you. You have a good day too, buddy. Frank says, I took a half position on FVN. Frank, 1/2 position. All right. And 153.30. Did I get the right price there? Oh, I did. Okay, never mind. That's right. Man, I always do that to Frank because I trade Apple and I forgot. Frank bought more shares of Apple yesterday, so his average price was right about 113. So now it's 117.18. So up nicely today. Nice ad there, Frank. Sorry, I always forget about that because I usually day trade it and I just gloss over it. So thank you for reminding me. Nice trade. Tracy said, do all the stock companies have an account value for being a day trader? Do all the stock companies have an account value for being a day trader? I'm not sure I understand that question, Tracy. Do all the stock companies have an account value for being a day trader? Oh, are you talking about the pattern day trading rule where I think you need to have $25,000? Otherwise, you have to wait for it to settle. I think that's what you're talking about. And when you say stock companies, do you mean the brokerage companies? Glenn said Qs will struggle to break 10 SMA at 289 with a 38.2 retracement from high upside 4% target within 2 to 3 trading days. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. I think we can go up, but I think right up in here, and you're talking about the 38.2% fib and the 10-day right about here. That's what I'm saying. In this blue area is, I think, where it's really going to have some issues. But who knows? But thanks for that, Glenn. Glenn's always good, really good with that, with the technical levels. Glenn says SPY levels are 348.54 on the 38.2 retracement and 346 for the 10 SMA. So SPY is the third. Okay, so the 38.2 is at. Oh, we're talking SPY, not index. 289. $348. Sorry. Okay, that makes more sense. 348's right about there. And Tony says, like to know your thoughts on HEXO. Hexo. Well, this is an example of moving sideways, having a big false breakout to the downside and the reversal back up. Nice V1 here. Doesn't offer probably a great risk to reward because your stop would be all the way about here. We're at a 48.96 right now. We have the 50-day moving average right above us. I think it's probably going to run into some resistance there. Let me look over here on the weekly. Ooh, a lot of nice sideways motion on the weekly. As a matter of fact, I would trade this, but I would trade it on a weekly bar. See the sideways motion we have? The sideways, sideways, sideways. See the big, in the last 3 weeks, here's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 2, washes out bar 1. The way that I would trade this, Antonio, is if this week's bar gets above this week's bar's close is 71 cents. If this week can close above 71 cents, I would buy it there. Then I would use a stop halfway the washout bar right here. On the daily, on the daily, it looks a little chasey, but if you look at it on a higher time frame, it makes a lot of sense. So 2 weeks ago, the close was 71 cents. If at the end of this week we close above 71 cents, I would buy that because this is beautiful sideways motion. See, this is sideways motion, everybody. This in a bounce is not sideways motion. This is sideways motion. And we know that sideways motion, the more it goes sideways, the more likely it is to move strong either to the upside or the downside. But that's a beautiful V2. That would be a beautiful V2 on the weekly. It really would. I hope that helps, Antonio. Frank says FNV, Greg. Did I put in the wrong symbol? I have FNV, don't I, Frank? FNV at 150.30. Got that right? Half position. Tracy says value minimum. And yep. I think Tracy was talking about for the pattern day trader rule and for the brokerages. I hope that's the case. Okay, got it. Well, let's mosey on over to see what's happening after hours here. Apple is up 4 cents. Goldman Sachs is up 5 cents. The Qs are up 6 cents. SPY's up 35 cents. Well, that's a good start. That's a good start to the overnight SPY trade. Oh, VIX is up 10 cents. That's interesting. Whew. All right, so I have a bunch of new positions here. Glenn says, back in February, March, the markets bounced for 4 days before heading south again. If we repeat, target downside on SPY would be 300. That's my trade plan, short 346, 300. You know, very, very, very likely. I mean, okay, let me say it this way. We had a big sell-off. We had a lot of volume. The psychology of the market changed. The psychology of day traders changed, right? There was some fear that came into the market. People hadn't felt fear in a long time. This big market plunge down is going to affect how we move forward. Unless we have, you know, some really great news on something, you know, I would imagine, where did Glenn say? 346. Yeah, just right where my pointer was, right? I mean, look, if we look from a Fibonacci standpoint, from here to here, 346 is a 50% retracement. And if we do the little trick, with the trend lines here, let's see. That's going to be offering resistance too, you know, maybe a point or so higher. But yes, I 100% agree. That's why, Glenn, that's when I was talking about the Qs on the chart that I kind of drew here. Because of the 50% retracement, because we'd be up against the trend line, and it also dovetails with that first ATR channel. And I'm not surprised we have a bounce, right? People are conditioned to buy the bounce, but we'll see. But this was very, very, very low volume today. Extremely low volume. I'm not saying we can't go up. I mean, you know, maybe see some follow through tomorrow, but huge volume on people the downside, weak volume on the way up at the moment makes me think that it's more in the realm of distribution and a bounce. But I'm wrong often, so I wish I had a crystal ball. I need another one of those dreams where I saw the Dow down 1,000. If I have one of those, I'll let you know. Man, you know, I kind of regret that. I remember the stock market being down like, I don't know, 250 or 350 points. And I thought, maybe today's the dream. I mean, could you imagine how much money you'd make if the stock market was down 350 points, but it was going to go down 1,000? Wow. When it actually got down 1,000, I was like, oh, well. That was the smarter thing to do, right? Not take any trades based upon a dream, but in this case, it came through. But yeah, thanks for the analysis, Glenn. I appreciate that. Let me look at the Qs in the last 5-minute bars. Oh my. Look at that sell-off in the last 5 minutes. Let's see in the last minute what happened. Yeah. Hey, Johan, if you're still listening, see the bottom with the deep MACD bars? We have the rally with the green. Now we're back down, double bottom, bullish divergence. So that's a good sign. But the last 5 minutes did sell off very, very hard. Let's see, was that the same for Apple? Probably. Yeah. All right, so I got the overnight SPY trade. Sold the puts on Apple down to 77.50, and my new entry today is silver. And that's that. But all in all, positive day. Happy for that. Well, I'll tell you, it's gotten cold up here. We went from being really hot to snow in the mountains. That was a big change. I have to dress totally different when I'm out hiking. So speaking of hiking, I'm going to go out, take a hike, do my shoulder exercises, have to go to the store, going to grab some food after that, and then I have a lesson with Johan tonight. So looking forward to that, Johan. And listen, I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. Please go out and try to do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile or a wave or a hello or just a nice, kind gesture. If everybody in the world would just do that every day to just one other person, man, the world would be a lot different, better place. So who knows? Maybe we can get the wave going with that. And then also, if you could please go out and try to do something nice for an animal today. Just a little smile or a wave or hey boy, hey girl, how you doing? Good boy. Give them a little rub on the head, something, give them a little treat, something like that. That would be doubly as good. Quad says, enjoy your hike, Greg. Have a great evening. You too, Quad. Nice to see you. Johan says, cheers. Enjoy your day, everyone. Sounds good, buddy, and I'll talk to you tonight. Thumbs up as always. Thanks, Quad. Miko says, thanks, Greg. Enjoy your hike. I will. Thanks, Miko. All right. Well, I think that's it. Have a good rest of your day. Be safe, be good, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Tomorrow in the last hour of the market. So thanks a lot, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.